And if you are, what can corporates actually do to try to make the shifts that they're going to have to do?
I love what Tim O'Reilly says. He says true invention and innovation doesn't exist amongst business people or even entrepreneurs. It exists when people are having fun. Google had the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you did whatever the company required you from an agreed KPI set. 20% of the time you did whatever you wanted, right? And in that 20% time, some of Google's greatest inventions and tools that we use today were actually invented. Gmail was invented and made in 20% time.
How important is it to set a really clear, often altruistic purpose to drive that culture where you get that fun that you're talking about? I just launched the poll, but what's your opinion on that?
We always talk about embracing failure. We always say, like, you got to respect failure. And at Google, I learned two things. Identify it early and do it very quickly. And I'll never forget, there was a time that I was at Google where someone made the search spider kind of stop working for an extended period of time. It kind of stopped Google from working for a couple of minutes. Now, for a company that handles, billions of hits per second, a couple of minutes is profoundly bad. She started backing, but Larry and Sergey sat down with her and said, what were you trying to do? And she said, what I was trying to do is make things go faster. And she unpacked it for them. And you know what? They rewarded her. And she was one of the most, later on, from a shareholding perspective, a shared dividends perspective, she became quite wealthy. But what that did, when everyone in Google saw that failure was actually rewarded, provided that there was a kind of a clear objective and a purpose around it, that was profound. That reset the culture. And I think lots of businesses may have to have an example like that, where something big like that happens and you embrace it, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going after specific things.
We have to have failure. You've got to have fun. You've got to have experimentation. If you can build that around a purpose, you've got a massive advantage. Why is it so hard for corporates to get this and start introducing it in the board and the executive level, where, yes, we've got to have profit and dividend, but we've got to build around a purpose and try to do good for our customers?
We are focusing so much on hard power and technology. We're not focusing enough on humanity. Kodak died because they were focusing on a poor capability with deep organic muscle. What they didn't realize on the outside of their business was people, humanity, augmented with technology, experiencing a derivative of the services that they were supposed to provide that spoke to our humanity. The fact that I can put a picture up on Facebook and get it clicked speaks to three things. This is what social media is all about, and every business needs to realize this today. Sustainability comes from what I'm about to explain. It's not understanding technology better, but comprehending humanity more. That is where sustainability comes from in a business today. It's not a technological story. It's not about a technology story. It's about a human story. This is about humanity.
I was just going to say, this sounds like the sort of stuff that many people would go, this is fluffy cloud type stuff. Have you experienced what it's like working in an organization where they're driving to improve humanity, and you've seen what happens on the back of it?
You need to understand humanity more than you understand technology, right? Humanity killed Kodak. Why? Because Kodak didn't realize that Colin is made up of three things. Every morning when Colin wakes up, Colin wants one of these three things, or a combination of all of them. Colin wants to feel a part of something. Okay? Community. The second thing that Colin wants is Colin wants recognition, attribution. The third thing that Colin wants is legacy, is to never be forgotten. The difference between Colin and the man that walked into a cave, put clay in his mouth, put his hand against the cave wall and spat, it's no different. The difference is you don't have a cave wall, you have a digital wall. And now it's global, it's not physical. But innately, you are exactly the same. Instinctively, as human beings, we want services that allow us to immerse ourselves within them so we can express our humanity, so we can see that we are part of something, so we can see that we are recognized, and we can get the notion that we are leaving a trail, leaving a legacy